everyone. The meeting will come to order. Madam Clerk, could you please read the adequate notice of compliance statement?
Yes. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the City Clerk's office in preparation of the Council annual meeting notice dated December 30th, 2021, which was properly distributed and posted per statutory requirements. Please be advised that the fire exits are to my right, your left, and at the back of the room. The city has a listening system to assist the hearing impaired. If anyone needs hearing assistance, please obtain the system at the dais and return it thereafter.
Thank you. Could we please have the roll call?
Ms. Allen? Here. Ms. Hairston?
Here.
Ms. Little? Here. Mr. Miniger?
Here.
Mr. O'Sullivan?
Here.
Mr. Vartan?
Present.
President Fox?
Here. Thank you. And now, if everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could you please read us the notes regarding closed session and hearings and comments?
A closed session meeting as authorized by state statute was announced and held prior to the start of this meeting, and the known items for discussion were listed on the published closed session agenda. Please be advised that council meetings are broadcast live on Summit YouTube channel and Comcast channel 36 and Verizon channel 30, and rebroadcast on Thursdays and Saturdays on HTTV, Comcast 36, and Verizon 33. When invited to speak, please come to the lectern, clearly state your name and address, spell your last name, and speak into the podium microphone so that your comments can be understood by all and properly recorded. Whenever an audience or council member reads from a prepared statement, please give or email a copy to the City Clerk's office at cityclerk@cityofsummit.org. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, speakers are asked to limit their comments to approximately 3 minutes or so in length. Unless you are using an electronic device to follow the meeting agenda or need it for professional emergency contact purposes, please turn it off. Thank you.
Thank you. And now moving on to approval of minutes. Do I have a motion for the regular and closed session minutes of December 14th and the January 4th organization meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries, and Councilmember Miniger, I guess, will probably recuse for the 14th. He was not, right?
He should.
He should. You should recuse yourself for the
December.
14th because you were not, you weren't here to vote then.
Correct.
Not
Right.
officially.
Not officially. You were in the audience then. Okay. All right. So moving on to reports. Madam Mayor?
Thank you, Council President. Welcome, everyone. I'm glad so many people could come out on this cold night. Yesterday, Shaping Summit Together hosted another successful Martin Luther King Day of Justice, Equality, and Service to Others in Summit. I am very thankful to all the organizations that participated and provided engaging service opportunities for people of all ages. In a recent call with Overlook Medical Center, they informed us that they are setting up a drive-through rapid COVID-19 testing site in the parking lot at the corner of Mountain and Morris Avenues. As I have been hearing from many residents about the need for more testing opportunities, I am extremely encouraged Summit residents will receive the access they need. During the call, we also heard that Overlook officials believe that Omicron has peaked and the numbers are going down. That is obviously very welcome news. On the topic of motor vehicle thefts, I would like to start by saying that I'm extremely pleased and thankful for the job of our acting chief. His expertise in criminal investigations is valued here, and his command team have the resources they need from mayor and council to work the problem. But it is a statewide issue. Westfield Mayor Shelley Brindle recently wrote in an email to me, quote, "If cars remain unlocked, these criminals will continue to come into our neighborhoods." I cannot agree with her more. To that end, earlier in the week, I sent an email to the mayors and police chiefs of the surrounding municipalities, inviting them to a joint conversation to share best practices and work toward a solution to combating this unacceptable criminal activity. In the last 5 years, 98% of the car thefts in Summit were unlocked with the key fobs accessible. By doing so, we have succeeded in making our city a ready target for this organized crime. In 2018, In a year in which we had 13 car thefts, then Chief Robert Weck stated the following at a council meeting, and I quote, "I only ask those that continue to put all of us in harm's way to please stop thinking of only yourselves and instead think about your neighbors and your own family members whose safety you are compromising by leaving your keys in your unlocked vehicle." He further went on to say, "If you think that I'm trying to scare you, I am, because enough is enough." Close quote. We also heard from Chief Andrew Bartolotti in the last few years asking much the same. I agree with the chiefs. I am not blaming residents, but I am urging individual responsibility. Later this evening, Chief Zagorski will address the important steps the Summit Police Department is taking to combat this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And now on to the City Administrator, Michael Rogers.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Just some sort of seasonal reminders. Curbside Christmas tree collection is ongoing through Friday, January 28th. All ornaments, lights, and decorations must be removed, and trees should be removed from plastic bags. Residents should place garlands and wreaths in or next to trash cans. They will be picked up with trash collection. There are no specific dates or times for tree pickup. Please do not report a missed tree pickup until January 28th. And I appreciate that because we do get a lot of calls on that throughout the wintertime. As the temperature continues to drop, I just have some weather tips from our Summit Fire Department. Please use caution when disposing of fireplace ashes and allow them to cool overnight before removing from a fireplace. Please do not place them in a paper bag or cardboard box. Use a metal container or store near away from your home or garage. There was a recent fire with significant exterior damage caused by ashes thought to be cold. Similarly, exercise caution with space heaters, keeping flammable items away from them. Plug space heaters directly into a wall and do not leave unattended or running overnight. As temperatures decrease, consider shutting off outside water. Temperatures decrease, meaning getting colder. Consider shutting outside water to avoid broken pipes. And just to finally, I just want to congratulate firefighter Mike Cook, who is retiring this year after 42 years of service with the Summit Fire Department. So I wish him all the best, and I think we all do as well, for his incredible career with the Summit Fire Department. That's all I have for this evening, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you. And then for the Council President's report, I have a few items. First of all, lost vaccination cards. If you've lost or misplaced your vaccination card, there's a page on the covid19.nj.gov website that provides directions on how to obtain a replacement copy, as well as a link to Docket, a free app developed by the New Jersey Department of Health that makes it easier for you and your family to securely access your COVID-19 vaccine record. The Docket app is now available on the App Store or on Google Play in English and Spanish, depending on smartphone settings. Go to covid19.nj.gov for more information. Now through January 21st, Moms Helping Moms is having a drive for the New Jersey Baby Supply and Diaper Bank. They're accepting baby and feminine hygiene products for families in need. This initiative is being hosted by the Union County Commissioners. In Summit, donations can be dropped off at the UPS store at 55 Union Place. And then finally, on motor vehicle thefts, I want to second what Mayor Radis just stated. One of the council and mayor's top priorities is the safety of our community. And I think we've said that very often. I look forward to hearing from members of the public and from Acting Chief Zagorski on the role that the Summit Police Department is playing in combating criminal activity in Summit. So with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is we have a presentation this evening. We have certificates of recognition and a brief presentation from our Summit Free Market Committee. So I'd ask the committee to come up, please. And we will recognize you. And I believe you have a short video, correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So we'll start with the video.
Sure. Sure.
Because of the nature of this year, the award ceremony was virtual. We were able to put together a video to showcase what Summit Free Market is all about. Our award was for a student-run initiative.
Okay. It's not showing over there.
Hello, I'm Amy Cairns from the City of Summit Communications Office. I'd like to welcome you to the Summit Free Market. We're going to tell you a little bit about our program and have you meet some of our volunteers.
I have a microwave, a toaster, a punch bowl, a pot, and a whole bunch of things that have all of their pieces.
Hi, I'm Sophie Malik, and I am one of the student co-chairs of the Summit Free Market. I've been involved in the program for 5 years. I started volunteering when I was in middle school, and I've stayed involved for that long just because I've seen the amazing impact that we've been able to have on the community and the environment.
We are volunteering at the Summit Free Market, and this event is staffed by students like us, and we would like to give back to our community.
My name is Julia. This is my sister Emma. We are volunteers here at Summit Free Market.
We've been volunteering here since last year. I told my mom about it and my sister about it, and we all love it.
I look forward to doing this every month.
Hi, I'm Meredith. I'm a volunteer in the Summit Free Market, and one of the best things I like about coming here is seeing people bring things in, and then also leaving and giving them a new life and a new home, and seeing things from being thrown away that are perfectly good quality.
We're so proud to be receiving this New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Governor's Excellence Award. Thank you.
I think our first, Chris Lejoy will be our first speaker, is that
Yes,
correct?
I'm going to be the first speaker, Christine Lejoy. I've had the pleasure of being a part of this committee since its inception in 2008. We started with a group of middle school students, and from there we developed a website, which at that point in time was not very popular. So we went to a physical location as a plan. Our very first free market was at the Summit Green Fest, run by Richard Sun many years ago. And then from there, we went to the transfer station, had tents outside until it was a very windy day, and we lost a lot of glassware. And so from then on, we were in the garage. So we did that for several years, twice a year, fall and spring. And then just recently, we've been blessed with having our building, and now we're able every second Saturday of every month to have our event. We've had, as mentioned in the video, lots of students who have started as middle schoolers and then have worked with us as high school students. We've also started to develop recruited a group of team leaders to help us with managing, and you saw that in the video as well. Many of our adults are there to help supervise and manage. And we're just so excited that it's come such a long way since our beginnings, and that we're just looking forward to all the other things we can do as we move ahead. So I'm going to turn it over to our student chairs.
Hello, my name is Jillian Heimpel, and I'm one of the student chairs of the Summit Free Market. Sophie and I have been volunteering at the Free Market since middle school and have witnessed the notable impact the program has had on our community. Volunteering at the Free Market is so valuable for me because it has allowed me to grow into a better leader, brings our community together, and has a positive impact on the environment by diverting tons of waste from entering landfills. It has been extremely rewarding being able to see the results of the program as it has grown over the years. Since recently transitioning to holding monthly events, we've tightened our rules on what we do and don't accept. We now receive more quality items and more items that are already sorted. This makes it easier for us to be efficient and keep the building organized. Additionally, we've continued to work with volunteer groups and organizations to donate extra items we have. For example, during Hurricane Ida, we were able to help a group whose office was damaged by providing them with new furniture. During the pandemic, we also started a virtual Summit Free Market Facebook page where residents can post items and have others pick them up. This helped to maintain interest in the program and is still in use. We also use this page by having volunteers post large furniture that we have in the building and direct people to post items on the page that we cannot accept, such as upholstered furniture. I'm so grateful for everyone who has put time into this amazing project, and I look forward to seeing the program continue to grow.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sophie Malik, and along with Jillian, I'm one of the student co-chairs of the Summit Free Market. I wanted to give a brief update on our student volunteer program and also speak about the incredible experience I've had being a part of this program. Part of my job as student co-chair is to recruit young volunteers to staff our monthly events. Every month, more and more new students express their interest in volunteering, along with veteran volunteers who continue to make a difference year after year. We've also been able to start including more middle school volunteers in our program, which is great because it allows them to get involved at a young age and keep volunteering throughout high school. As we look forward, we will strive to continue to make the volunteer experience rewarding and impactful for everyone involved. This is especially exciting for me because I first got involved in the program in 8th grade. I was so inspired by the eager, hardworking student and adult volunteers who ran the program, and their passion made me want to continue to be a part of it. I look forward to continuing to mentor the younger volunteers and hopefully have the same impact on them. No matter how hard I look, I can never find anything quite like the Summit Free Market that's benefiting the community, the environment, and the people involved in such an amazing way. I want to thank everyone who's made this program possible.
Thank you.
Hi, and I'm Christopher Harrison, one of the team leaders, and I just wanted to give a thanks to the DPW staff, especially Beth Kinney, Michael Caputo, Sal, and Russell. They welcomed our initiative, and without their help, we'd never be able to have it grow to the level that it's at now. Also, the communications office for all their work in publicizing our events, and we look forward to their continued support. I'd like to thank the mayor and everyone on council for your support, as well as the hours that you've spent volunteering with us. And we're looking forward to working with our newly formed committee to help keep the free market growing into the future. So thank
Great,
you.
thank you. So stay up there because we've got certificates for everyone.
They're all the same, so I'm going to read one. So it's the City of Summit Certificate of Recognition. In recognition of your outstanding contribution and dedication as a volunteer and student chairperson at the Summit Free Market, which recently received an award from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for excellence in a student-run environmental program, in appreciation of your countless hours of volunteer participation, which has kept reusable items from the waste stream and created a successful program that is much loved by the Summit community. This is presented to Sophie Malik. Of your outstanding contribution and dedication as a volunteer and adult mentor at the Summit Free Market, which recently received an award from the Department of Environmental Protection for excellence in a student-run environmental program, and in appreciation of your countless hours of volunteer participation, which has kept reusable items from the waste stream and created a successful program that is much loved by the Summit community.
Thank you.
As a volunteer adult mentor. And Ms. Parents, in recognition of your outstanding contribution and dedication as a retired volunteer at the Summit Free Market, which recently received an award for excellence in a student-run environmental program, and in appreciation of your countless hours of volunteer participation, which has kept reusable items from the waste stream and created a successful program that is much loved by the Summit community.
You want to be on anything? Okay.
congratulations to all our free market volunteers, and thank you for all the hard work that you've done for this community. It's a really great program, and you should all be very proud of the work you've done. So now we're moving on to the next item, which is the public comment period. So we've got a lot of people here tonight, so I'm going to ask each of you to limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. When you come up, please state your name and address. And the other thing I'm going to ask, we are going to ask that everyone keep their masks on for the duration of the meeting, even when speaking. First person, feel free to come up. If you have a prepared statement, I ask you to please send it to the clerk, city clerk, at
Sure.
cityofsummit.org.
Great, thanks. Amy DeCibio, it's D like David I, S like Sam I, B like boy I, O, and I live at 1 Essex Road. And good evening, Mayor and Council and others. I'm hopeful that the attitude towards crime and the criminals committing crime in our city will change. It needs to be more honest. Our residents don't feel secure because what we're hearing from our leaders doesn't really feel right. It doesn't feel accurate and it doesn't feel supportive. In fact, it sometimes feels like the victims themselves are the bad guys. Back in April, the communication from the city and the county with respect to the abduction on Fernwood was that, quote, Summit police thwarted an attempted abduction. The definition of thwart is to prevent. Attempt means to try. And when preceded by thwart, the phrase implies that the situation was avoided. Now, this poses a problem since the videos from the incident were widely shared and everyone was able to see for themselves a girl being picked up, being stuffed into the back of a vehicle, and the vehicle driving off. Summit police thwart an attempted abduction as an inaccurate at best report. Most people don't believe it's an honest account of what happened. However, kudos to the officers who were able to apprehend the abductor a few hours later. Along the same lines, to many of us, the messaging from the city with respect to the endless car thefts and attempted car thefts feels wrong. The criminals cruising 24/7 are not to blame. Instead, the residents are getting what we deserve. This week's message from the city, one of them anyway, said, quote, again, what can we say to convince you to secure your vehicles so this criminal activity will stop? Is the takeaway supposed to be a warning that if you accidentally leave a key fob in your car, you're penalized, and the penalty is that you lose your vehicle? To put this in context, these cars are parked on private property that's being trespassed upon. These vehicles are actually not up for grabs, and our residents are not the losers who can't seem to get the play right in this sick game of keep away. In fact, this is really more like a game of Grand Theft Auto, and we need to treat it as such. Wouldn't it be better if the communication from the city instead included information with descriptions of the criminals, their cars? How about photos? How large are their gangs? How are they stalking us? What should we do if they approach us walking to or from our vehicles? How about if they try to take the key fobs from our person or from our kids? Are the thieves armed? Clearly, we all need to try to be more vigilant with our key fobs, but we should not have to worry that criminals are lurking everywhere in this town 24/7, approaching us while we sit in our own cars in our own driveways, trespassing on the yard behind our homes, and even actually entering our homes looking to take our private property. Let's treat the criminals and not the residents as criminals. Summit residents pay a lot of taxes to the state and the county, and Summit reaps little benefit with respect to what we pay. So perhaps it's time for our leaders to put pressure on the county and the state and ask for some of those resources to be directed our way so that our local police can better tackle this issue and put more patrol cars on the road and increase traffic stops. Perhaps we can also work with other municipalities dealing with this to implement some tactical measures to cut crime before someone gets hurt. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. DeCibio. Okay, you know what, I'm going to ask everyone to please not applaud for each of the comments. We have a lot of people here waiting to speak, and I want to
Pretty
just...
applaud-worthy, though, right?
No,
There we go.
you know what, no.
Anyways,
Okay.
my name is Tim Swope. I live at 69 Hobart Ave. That's Swope, S-W-O-P-E. First of all, that was a hard act to follow. I couldn't agree with her more. I think a lot of us are here in support of that decision because tonight you did say statistics, 98% of the cars stolen was a key fob. Now, realize that 100% of the people that stole those cars came onto our private property, sometimes tried the door. We have the videos, tried our own doors. Maybe they didn't steal it. They committed a crime. We don't see a lot of police presence. We see a lot of cars parked somewhere, but we don't see a lot of police presence. I work outside of on my lawn often. I have a daughter I take for walks, a dog I walk around 6-7 times a day. Rarely on Hobart Ave do I see a police car come by, but I see 5 or 6 cars that we don't see normally, that keep cruising our neighborhood. We need proactive policing. They used to do this back in the day. I'm pretty old, but we're all in support of the police station if they want to do that. And I think maybe city council or whatever needs to, sometimes you got to take the cuffs off. We are in a bad situation. I want to come back here and see the statistics are a drop in that crime, not how many people leave their key fobs in.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who'd like to comment?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This is the first time I'm doing this, but I'm here out of fear and frustration. My name is Monica Richter. That's R-I-C-H-T-E-R, and I live on infamous Fernwood. Fernwood from burglaries, Fernwood from car thefts, and the Fernwood from the recent abduction. I agree with Ms. DeCibio. There was nothing attempted about that when you see a human being shoved into the back of another car. So I am here with a fictitious TripAdvisor for the criminals when they think about Summit. We have a great location with easy access to a major port and airport for your stolen goods. We are super swift access to highways. We have many, many convenient ways to exit the routes to these highways. We have an understaffed police force for this type of crime. We have a community being blamed for being trusting. And we have, last but not least, great loot. So come visit Summit. Many of these characteristics I don't want to change. I love this community. I love that I have neighbors that leave back doors open for my children to come visit, or potentially even say, sorry your car broke down, the keys are close by, go take my car. That's the community I joined here. How can we fight this together? And I do not believe this is just the police. I do agree with the mayor, we all need to be in this together. Yes, we have to be careful of our key fobs. Please go online though. The newest technology coming out of China for $11 allows you within 1,000 feet to use a low radio frequency and find a key fob. You do not need to leave it in your car anymore. You can have it in your house. We must be battling this crime differently. We have to shut down these access routes. It is far too easy to leave our residential streets and get to these highways. We must have police officers that are willing to use decoys, park a Range Rover in my driveway and leave the key fob in it and catch these criminals. We have got to stop. I am willing to help set up a neighborhood watch. Help me with the technology. I will walk the neighborhood with this key fob technology, and I will knock on my neighbor's doors and say, sorry you're taking your groceries in the house. Your key fob is in your car. We can do this together, but it is an epidemic in the middle of a pandemic. Please help us. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Okay, yes. If everyone could please make an effort to speak into the microphone, because I'm hearing that there are people at home who can't hear. No, put your mask on, please. That's not an option. You can speak loudly. We managed to do it up here. I'm asking everyone to please just move the, you can move the microphone closer to your face. You can pull, it's adjustable. You can adjust it. Yep. Okay, so go ahead.
I just want to say hello. My name is Erwin Miller, 5 Nob Hill Drive. I moved here about a year ago. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. I was watching on the Zoom a few months ago. First of all, great innovation. Thank you for having that. And I forget who said something about, you guys were all talking about a development that's coming through. I have nothing to say about that. I just moved to Summit. But there was a comment from, I forget who, that someone tried to say something, and it was, well, this has been an issue for years and years and years, and you're kind of new here, and if you wanted to be involved in this conversation, you should have, stepped up and come here 10 years ago. And that's fair enough. So I just want to introduce myself. Erwin Miller, 5 Nob Hill Drive. Nice to meet you all. My personal issue is, you all may disagree with me, or some of you may or may not agree with me. I am not thrilled with the mandate on my 3-year-old wearing a mask all day in daycare. That to me is unacceptable. And I just wanted to say nice to meet you all, and look forward to working together. More to come.
Welcome to Summit. Okay. Next commenter.
I'm going to try to yell.
Okay.
Lisa Glassband, 42 Fernwood Road. Thank you for the opportunity. As you all know, there was an abduction in front of my home in April of last year, and as many of you know, this past Wednesday night, a car thief attempted to steal one of our vehicles from our driveway just after 8 p.m. while my husband was just a few feet away in the garage putting together a hockey goal for my son. My husband instinctively confronted the criminal, and thankfully he ran off, but not before jumping into a speeding getaway car. We immediately reported the incident to the police and were very disappointed that an advisory from the department was not immediately issued, especially since it was so early in the evening, and just moments before this happened, there were runners and joggers and dog walkers all along Fernwood, as my security footage showed after the fact. My security footage also showed that these criminals apparently work in a team. They drive up, they park in front of the target house, they make their attempt, and they have their getaway driver right outside in case the theft does not materialize. I was absolutely shocked to see all of this. And since the city didn't warn the community after our police report, myself and several of my concerned neighbors worked feverishly circulating emails, text messages to get the word out, since nothing had been sent out over the citywide system designed to notify people of these very incidents. In communications from the department in the wake of all the recent crimes, the mantra is key fobs, key fobs, key fobs. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people should leave their key fobs in their car and become more of a target. But regardless, criminals do not have the right to trespass onto our property and steal our possessions. Key fobs do not absolve any of you and any of us from the reality that we have to try to solve the problem. We are a laughingstock. The criminals know they can come here, they're not going to get chased, they're not going to get arrested, and there are absolutely zero consequences. Since the abduction last year, I and others felt compelled as members of the community and being touched by what happened in front of my home to bring potential solutions to the table. I personally have had multiple meetings with the mayor and various members of this body, and also sent tens of emails offering up data, crime data, and suggesting potential solutions. Like, for example, closing some of the access points that I truly believe are a huge part of the problem. That could help officers better manage the grids that they try to monitor if we close some of those access points. And let's be clear, criminals are not just targeting us because of key fobs. They're smart enough to know that it's a straight shot to any of the 7 access roads. And even if an officer was to follow them, they're not allowed to pursue them once they hit the access road. We all know that, and they certainly do. Closures have been dismissed, but perhaps it's time for this administration to revisit them and find real solutions. Something different has to be done, and we have an obligation to explore it. And again, I ask all of you, why do we need 7 points of ingress and egress into Summit from the highway? In closing, I'm grateful that the criminals on Wednesday night were not carrying weapons when my husband confronted them, or God forbid, hit someone when they sped away. But the reality is, the more we allow these incidents to happen, the more likely it is that we will face a tragedy in the future. Then it'll be too late. And trust me, people will come back to these transcripts and say you were all on notice. I ask you, I implore you, please help us find a solution to this epidemic of a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you? My name's Dennis Cole. I live at Cole, C-O-L-E. I live at 117 Fernwood Road. Moved here about a year ago. As we've heard now from 2 people on Fernwood, every night there's pretty much something going on. Someone checking on doors on cars, stealing a car, a abducting people. I would love to hear from you guys what the plan is, because it's pretty obvious that there's certain roads that are being targeted night after night after night. I understand some things, closing roads take a while, but are there any stakeouts? Do we have unmarked cars and people in them watching the road? Are they following people at night? If people are driving house to house and stopping at random driveways at 1 a.m., that's not normal behavior. I've yet to hear a solution that can be implemented tonight, and I look forward to hopefully hearing one from you. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. After all the comments are given, we'll have the police chief address the questions that have been raised. So come on up, next commenter.
Hi, my name is Irene Loshard. I live on Lenox. My comment is to a different point, and I feel like there is a double standard. I tend to not go anywhere where I have to sit around in a mask. I don't like it. It's not necessary. And I feel like it's a double standard that Councilman Little and Mr. Vartan are not here. I don't know why they're not here, but we are not allowed to participate by Zoom. I'm not sure why other people are allowed to participate by Zoom. I'd like to have some sort of answer. I feel like Councilman Allen has to sit over there alone. Maybe they don't like her, that's why they don't come. I'm not sure. But
I can assure you that's not the reason.
I think that they should be here.
Thank you for your comment. You know what? No comments from the audience, please. If you have something to say, you come up and you make a comment. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Angela Schroeder, 10 Essex Road. I'd just like to say that the statistics that we've been seeing on car theft and attempted theft seem like they're way below what's actually happening and may not be painting the right picture. I saw some stats from 2021 that there were 22 cars stolen and 41 attempted steals. We're finding there are attempts every day. We have a group text going on in the North Side neighborhood. So if you agree with what people are reporting, it's happening at least once a day. So I don't know how to change the reporting. I don't know how the Summit Police track that, but it's vastly underreported. It's probably 360 attempts per year, not 41 attempts per year. My other comment is I don't think anything will truly change until the consequences change. That's outside this council's purview. But I know that our governor is getting ready to appoint his attorney general for the second term. And if we can figure out a way to give our input in terms of the consequences and the new sentencing and bail reform and issues like that, I'm sad to say I don't think much will change until some of the changes happen in that area. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, next commenter.
Hello all, my name is Haley Telling. I live at 215 Oak Ridge Avenue, and I'm here to implore you to give us a plan of how you are going to address these criminals. I experienced one of these criminals up close in June. I was actually, I guess, involved then in a strong arm robbery by this this criminal. We collected DNA sample of his blood, and as of 2 weeks ago, this was 8 months ago, it has yet to be processed. So if this person could be identified, perhaps he could be tied to this ring of criminals that have been canvassing our town. And the comment that I received from the detective is that we live in a county where I guess it is perhaps Elizabeth. There is much more violent crime there, so either the lab or the forensics team there decides which DNA they run when. The fact that this is evidence that could link, all of these criminals together, who knows if it's just one ring that's being operated. I think that someone needs to get on the phone and have that DNA run and processed. This is a really big deal, and I can't believe it's been 8 months and that I have to get up here and ask you guys to do this. Like, who's not following through? I don't understand. Also, I took a little time today to look up some solutions, such as these ALPR systems and cameras. They are not very expensive. It looks like to have a Sparrow camera in real time with real-time evidence, free cloud storage for 30 days, real-time alerts sent to police, annual fee $2,400 per camera per year, implementation fee $250 per camera one time. We could have these cameras everywhere. And if you see a car that's driving by several times that doesn't look like it belongs, clearly someone can track it down by the data that's stored on these cameras. And you can also look at the data that's been stored for days and say, okay, today it was a white van, yesterday it was a red Honda Civic. These should be tracked. And is this in the budget? I was under the understanding that most municipalities, their fiscal year is July to June. So if that is the case, and right now you guys are prepping your budget and what you're going to spend your money on, I think you should spend your money on technology to end these crimes. So I have all this information that I printed off. I'd be happy to give it to you. This company is called Flock. They're well known and they're good at what they do. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be happy to take that. If you'd like to provide that to the clerk, that would be great. And I'm sorry to hear about that incident. This is the first I've heard of it. And
okay, well, it was in June, and some of the other police officers said, "Oh, well, half of Summit Police wouldn't have done what you did." Well, that's also a problem. So the criminals know that everyone is very soft on
it's okay.
crime
You can.
here.
Yeah, we're good.
So,
thank you.
there you go.
Thank you very much, Ms. Keller.
Okay. So are there any other comments? Go ahead.
Hi, Delia Hamlet. I live on the corner of Brantwood and Fernwood. Thank you for coming tonight. I want to also thank all the residents. Sometimes it can be a lonely place up here fighting for certain things that we are probably all on the same page about. So thank you for coming tonight. I want to thank the individuals from the free market. Great job. And obviously you got a great audience tonight. So we all know about the free market, and I know I'm going to send my kids there. I'm the biggest advocate of our police department. I love Captain Zagorski. I love all the detectives. I love everybody. I just wonder if our mission is changing. I've been saying this for almost a year now. After spending more than 4 years active duty in the Army, our mission changed. Sometimes you were in deployment mode and sometimes you weren't. And it seems to me, as many of me and my neighbors, including Haley Telling, who was accosted at Equinox back in June, and all of these things, I've spent almost $4,000 creating an app, a safety app, but I was on Facebook. So many people said I was a racial profiler for making an app, so I stopped making it. But now I'm wondering, should we continue to do that? Should we make a communication tool that allows our neighborhood to communicate events? Because that's what we're doing. And if we need to hire private security on the north side, we will do that. But we are all here on the same page. And we have elected you as our leaders. And we are hoping and literally praying that you will call to action and stop this criminal activity. I watch my neighbor, Carrie Pito's 2 children, walk up the street every day at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I think to myself, good for her. She's making those kids walk. And the next breath, I think to myself, God, are they going to be okay? Like, are they going to, because the other day an incident happened at 8:30. And I'm constantly sending videos. We're constantly communicating. But and I agree with you, people shouldn't leave their fobs in the car. I agree with you. I will ask Captain Zagorski, how can we reallocate our shifts? Can we go 12 on, 12 off, so we reallocate our police officers? I'm sure that the shifts are the same as they used to be, and I believe that the reason for that was to save overtime money. Can we reallocate resources? Do we need to start a GoFundMe and hire private security? This isn't a police problem. It's lack of resources. Something has to be done, because what we are doing right now is not working. The last thing I would like to say is that I agree with Irene Loschert as far as the hybrid meetings. You know, I asked Councilman Vartan a few months ago, I said, do you want to be involved in our safety chat? And we go back and forth sometimes. But I would urge you to be involved in our safety group that is all of you. We can add you tomorrow. You do have to reply right away to be included in the chat, but I'd urge all of you to be involved in that, because I think it is a really good communication tool. I'm happy to share the app with you. If somebody would like to come to the table, I'm prepared to help. I think we're all prepared to help. We're all on the same page. We're looking for you as leaders to solve the problem. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Hamlet. Are there any other comments? Okay. Last chance. I'm going to close the public comment
Council
period.
President,
No,
we do-
but for the public people, and then I'll allow you to
Don't
read.
close public comment.
I'm not closing it then, okay. But that's it for the people who are present, and now we're going to move on to the written
Okay.
comments.
So, Council President, through you, there
Sure.
were several emails received, and I will just summarize them. I'll list the names that the people who sent them in, and then just summarize what they said. The Summit residents who wrote in were Debbie Lyons, Nora McLaughlin, Kathy McDonald, Matt Sloan, Lauren Smith, and Myan Bondi. The residents who sent in emails were similar in nature. The topic of their emails were similar in nature. These residents shared concerns regarding the recent uptick in car thefts and asked what the city and the police department are doing to address the issue, asking about what safety measures are being implemented and if there are plans for public service announcements by the mayor to raise public awareness. There was another email separate from that on a different topic, but cars, including cars, from Edward Doherty. He is sharing concerns about loud cars on Park Avenue. He advises that there have been some time with excessively loud cars with aftermarket exhaust systems on Park Avenue, expresses his feelings that the noise is disruptive to the quiet neighborhood. When the cars are speeding down the street, the noise gets louder. Several neighborhood residents on Park Avenue have filed complaints with the Summit Police Department, but are told by the police that the problem is very difficult to enforce. He suggested that while the mayor and council may be supportive of the police department's efforts to address the problem, there should be a task force created to address the noise issue. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. So I think at this point, we'll let the chief come, the acting chief, Chief Zagorski, would you like to come up and address some of these issues that have been raised?
And what I'm hoping, Chief, is you'll tell us, what we've done thus far, which doesn't mean that we aren't going to, when we have this meeting with other mayors and chiefs, talk about best practices and other things that we can do. And no, we don't come to a solution tonight, but you need to let everyone know what we're doing thus far.
Madam President, Madam Mayor, council members, I want to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this matter tonight. I want to thank all the members of the public that came out, taking time out of your busy schedules to bring your concerns to us. And these are important matters, and hopefully we'll come to some type of solution with them. From listening to everybody here, it sounds like we have different strategies on how to resolve this problem. But one thing I'm confident is that we all share the same goal to make Summit a safe community. I have some prepared remarks, and I'm going to go over them. Just a little taken back of what I heard tonight. I hear where you're all coming from. I'm going to ask all you, a lot of you don't even know me. I'm going to ask you to put some trust in me. And give me an opportunity here.
Chief, you need to address.
No, I'm sorry, I just want
Yeah.
to let them know I'm talking
Yeah.
to them.
Oh, I
Now I'm gonna
appreciate
turn
it.
back here, but this is all for you guys.
It doesn't get picked up by the microphone
Right.
either if you're turning around. Go ahead.
I'm asking you to trust me that I care deeply for this community. I care deeply for all of you, and I know every member of this department does, and we're committed to keeping all of you and your families safe. Listening to some of your suggestions tonight, there's some of the things that we've already been doing, we're still doing, continue to do, but I just can't get past it. You might not like what I have to say, but we have a simple solution here. Again, without pointing the finger at anybody, without blaming anybody, we have a simple solution here. This one particular problem, okay? It's locking our car door and taking the key fob back. No, hold on. Hear me out, please. All right, I'm asking you to trust me.
This is Ms. Hamlet, this is not a
I showed
conversation.
everyone respect here listening to you. Please, just give me a moment, okay? I'm going to go into, I'm going to start out, I'm going to go into some historical information regarding stolen cars in our town. Hopefully that will give you some perspective of the numbers that we're seeing now and ways we can move forward. During the decade of the 1980s, the city of Summit averaged around 55 stolen cars per year, recording a high of 80 stolen cars in 1 year alone. Over the next 20 years, Summit followed a national trend of steadily declining motor vehicle thefts. This decline would be attributed to a wide array of causes, such as better technology in vehicles, most notably the introduction of ignition keys with computer chips, which made cars harder to steal. From 2000 to 2009, our average number of motor vehicle thefts per year dropped from 55 to 24 per year. From 2010 to 2009, that number dropped to an all-time low of 10 stolen vehicles per year. In 2020, motor vehicle thefts spiked nationally to a 15-year high. Following that trend, the motor vehicles in Summit also spiked to 31. So that answers somebody's question here. I think they said that we reported 23. This is I'm getting this information from the state police, the information that I gave to the state police for our statistics in the UCR. So we had 31 stolen vehicles in 2020, followed by 28 stolen vehicles in 2021. What caused this spike? The National Insurance Crime Bureau counts the pandemic, economic downturn, loss of juvenile outreach programs, and public safety budgetary resource limitations as contributing factors of the motor vehicle increase in 2020. Another cause, and again, it comes home here, another cause was keyless ignitions became increasingly more common in cars. In 2008, keyless ignitions was standard on 11% of vehicles sold in the United States. By 2018, that became standard equipment in almost 70% of the vehicles that are on the road today. And I don't have any stats for 2020, but I'm sure that number is even higher now. The keyless ignition, it was designed to make cars almost impossible to steal. But a trend started to make them vulnerable to theft. People started to forget to lock their vehicle, and they were leaving the keys in the vehicle. This is a trend that is seen now nationally. From 2015 to 2018, there's been like a 56% increase in vehicles that have been stolen by leaving the key fobs in the car. Unfortunately, our numbers are higher, as you heard earlier. Well, Summit followed that trend as well, and somewhere down the line, word of this got out, producing the recent rash of car thefts. Which brings me here tonight again, and again, I'm asking you to trust me. I'm listening to you, I hear you. I want to do everything, to make all of you safe and to resolve this problem. But I'm frustrated, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Who's committing these crimes? These are teams of small, organized criminal groups who go through neighborhoods to identify cars that are susceptible to being stolen. If they encounter a locked door or no key fob in the vehicle, our investigation showed that these criminals move on looking for another target. I've seen the videos, I've seen the proof, I've seen the evidence. I got one tonight from a resident on Canubra Parkway. They go up to the vehicles, they check it, they can't gain access, and they move on. End of story. They move on. They're not using any sophisticated equipment. Their method is simple, but it's really effective. 98% of all vehicles stolen within the last 5 years have been unlocked with key fobs accessible. That's 96 out of 98 stolen cars, leaving 2 that were reported where the key fob wasn't left in the car. One of them was an older vehicle, which was easy to steal using methods from like the early 90s and 2000 just by popping a lock and punching the ignition, which you can't do to these cars. Another one, we took the individual at his word. We're not saying that he was inaccurate, but he just couldn't find his key fob, and he believes that it wasn't in the vehicle. So that number could actually be higher than 98%. Let me be clear. My point of emphasizing this staggering number is in no way meant to victim shame or blame anyone. Believe me, I care deeply for this community. I care deeply for all of you, and your safety is paramount to me. I just want to point out that the unintended consequences that result from leaving our keys in unlocked vehicles and the urgent need to address this problem. People, this is attracting the criminals here. Make no mistake, this is attracting them here. Someone said something about a joke. Yeah, they think we're a joke because we're an easy target. I've always believed the Summit Police Department's greatest asset is our strong relationship with the community. Right now, I'm asking to draw on that support and work together to stop these crimes. It is a simple and effective step to secure vehicles and remove key fobs that I'm asking the residents to take. That doesn't mean I'm going to ignore your concerns. It doesn't mean that I'm going to ignore the fact that they may still be riding around looking for targets. My hope is if we take away the ability for them to steal the cars, eventually that number of people driving around town looking for targets will decrease. What measures are we taking in the Summit Police Department? Just to be clear too, if this week seems particularly active, there's a reason. NICSL alerts and advisories are being sent for every motor vehicle theft and attempted theft. We want the community to be aware of how much activity is present. It is not dramatically different from the past 5 years you were hearing about. It's more, it's just a more thorough communication channel effort. I have 2 goals. The first is to actively prevent crime in Summit through investigation and detailed patrols. The second is to influence your behavior, specifically making it a common practice to lock your car and remove the key fob. How can we stop this, and what technology is being used? I'd like to answer this question by first giving you some background. There have been periods where vehicles were taken and shipped overseas. Lately, the trend is to take these vehicles and use them to commit crimes. These vehicles are more than likely recovered. The national average for arrests following a motor vehicle theft is around 10% nationally. The Summit Police Department is around, has a clearance rate of about 15%, and our recovery rate of vehicles is around 85%. We have employed the use of advanced technology, increased patrols, extended our sharing of intelligence and resources both with surrounding towns in our region and the state. License plate readers are positioned at undisclosed areas throughout the town. They alert us to stolen vehicles coming into our town, and we can set readers to alert us when vehicles enter or leave Summit. I just wanted to conclude by reassuring the public that Summit Police Department is on top of this issue, and we are committed to keeping this community safe. But we can't do it alone. We can't do this in a vacuum. We need residents to partner with us to lock your vehicle every time you park the car. I'm not trying to assign blame. I'm asking for your help. And just a PS, I want to apologize. Again, this is very frustrating. And if you would put your trust in me and just work with me on this, and make this a priority, the key fob thing, the priority. It's not the only issue, I know that. But we could significantly reduce this problem. You know, I've been in law enforcement for 32 years. And I don't think I've ever had an opportunity where, to give a crime prevention advice, usually when you give crime prevention advice, it's not a magic bullet. It doesn't, get rid of it totally. It's designed to slow the process down and to reduce it somewhat. This is a rare opportunity we have here with the key fob. If we could all come together as a community, remind each other, just be neighborly, not to leave the key fob in the vehicle. I think we could just about eliminate this, which I can't even believe I'm saying, because that's something in law enforcement that is just, you don't say. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, so with that, we will move on to, we've closed the public comment period.
So it's still open?
No, it is not, it's closed.
You said we can move on, keep it open.
No. I did last call, and you also have already commented, so.
Oh, you can't go back.
No. Okay. No, I'm not going to reopen it. We've done, we gave you plenty of time to comment. We took the written comments as well. We had the chief respond. We're now done.
Answer the mayor's question about what they've done.
The mayor's question
yes,
about what
he
they've
talked-
done?
I asked him to comment on what the police department is doing. I didn't hear anything about what you're doing.
Yes, he did, sir. He responded about what they're doing in terms of patrol and the license plate readers and things like that. And we are, as I said before the chief began, this is an ongoing project. And we are not stopping. We need to work on this. We're going to work on it together. Tonight, we really want to get your cooperation. We need to, we are taking the steps at the end of Fernwood. That is going to happen. You've heard us, we've had these conversations. It's not an easy thing to close a road. And it needs a lot of state approval. We don't have control over things like that. So I really want to work with other mayors in the surrounding towns and share, as I said, what are they doing in Westfield? Westfield has a bigger problem than we do. So what are they doing? And all the mayors have responded to me as of this week, within yesterday, and we're going to set up that meeting shortly. So this is something that Chief Zagorski is working on consistently, as are his patrol officers. They're taking it very seriously, and we're going to work on this, but we need to work together. So thank you all very much for coming out tonight.
Do we get?
Do you want to take a brief recess?
Yeah, let's take a brief recess. All right, do we have everyone back now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the rest of the agenda, and then if anyone has, I got a couple of comments from council members that they wanted to say something. So during the council members' comments and new business, anyone who feels the need to add to what was discussed can do that. But I think it would really be helpful to give the safety committee some time to digest this, and for the mayor to meet with the other mayors before we further comment and see where those processes go.
And then come back to have another conversation at a council meeting after a bit of that.
Okay. So with that, we're moving on to resolutions, and we have capital projects. We have quite a few for Councilmember O'Sullivan. Would you like to go ahead with?
Yes, thank you, Council
Resolution
President.
Okay.
This is ID number 9394, to authorize execution of Second Amendment to the access agreement by and between the City of Summit and Broad Street West Managers, ILLC, Broad Street West Redevelopment Area. In July of 2020, Council authorized the execution of an access agreement that permits the developer of Broad Street West to conduct due diligence related to environmental site investigation work. The original agreement expired in November of 2021, and since this work is not yet completed, the original agreement needs to be amended to extend the date to November of 2023. I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second.
Are there any comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the second capital projects resolution has been pushed to the next meeting, so we're moving on to capital projects number 3. Councilmember O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Council President. This is ID number 9377, to authorize online auction of unneeded city equipment and unneeded vehicles. Each year, through the city's capital vehicle and equipment replacement plan, older vehicles and equipment that have outlived their useful life are sold at auction, and at this time, we have 4 vehicles which are no longer needed for public use. This year, the city has utilized the state contract, which is an online auction program offered by municibid.com at no cost to the city. The online auction platform offers greater exposure for the items and potentially higher profits. I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second.
Are there comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to capital projects number 4. Go ahead, Councilmember O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Council President. This is ID number 9390, Summit Economic Development Advisory Committee, to amend the membership and appoint a member, pending our closed session discussion. So pending our closed session discussion tonight, Summit Downtown Incorporated has approached the Economic Development Advisory Committee and asked for a seat at the table for that committee. And per our closed session discussion, we have agreed to let SDI have a seat on that committee. So I ask that we approve this resolution.
Second.
Any comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public on this topic? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we're moving on to capital projects number 5.
Yes, thank you, Council President. This is ID number 9376, to declare a vacancy in the Department of Community Services, Division of Public Works, Buildings and Grounds Unit. Per our closed session discussion, I want to declare a vacancy, and I ask that we approve this resolution.
Second.
Any comments from members of council? Comments from the public? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, one last one. Councilmember O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Council President. This is ID number 9380, to declare a vacancy in the Department of Community Services, Division of Public Works, the Roads Unit. Per our closed session discussion, there was some lateral movement within departments, and so we have now a vacancy in the Roads Unit, and I ask that we approve this resolution. Declare a vacancy.
Second.
Comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public? Okay, here, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So now we're moving on to law and labor. Councilmember Hairston.
Thank you, Council President. I ask for your permission to bundle these 3 resolutions.
Yep.
Okay.
Good
and
idea.
I will just go over, it's ID 9365, to authorize execution of a annual license agreement for the Office of Summit, doing business as the Office Tavern Grill. ID number 374, to authorize execution of an annual license agreement for use of sidewalk for select restaurants. and ID number 9373 to authorize execution of an annual license agreement for the Office of Summit, doing business as Piatino Neighborhood Bistro. So the purpose of these three resolutions is to authorize the execution of an annual license agreement for the sidewalk cafes with liquor licenses, and that would be for Winberry's Restaurant, Piatino's, and the Office Tavern Grill. Each of these entities have submitted an application to operate a sidewalk cafe and to extend their liquor license to allow them to serve on the sidewalk cafe area outside of their premises. So we're speaking of the Office Tavern and Grill at 61 Union Place, Piatino Neighborhood Bistro, that's 67 to 71 Union Place, and Winberry's, which is on 2 Kent Place Boulevard. These entities will have an annual charge based on a per table basis in accordance with the city's existing per table fee structure, and that's in the amount of $404, and they are required to pay this in advance for a term commensurate with the period of their approval. These sidewalk cafe licenses will be issued pending approval of the 2022 sidewalk cafe plan. And each of these applicants have supplied proof of a $1 million liquor liability policy that was requested to be provided. And so I ask that we approve these three resolutions.
Second.
Okay, are there any comments from members of council? Councilmember Allen.
Thank you. Just a brief comment, sort of more for the record. I'm a big proponent of the outdoor cafes, so I will gladly vote for it. The only thing I want to talk about, just to put it out on the record, is when there are people eating outside, making sure that the sidewalks are clean and that trash is being picked up. I just want to throw that out there because I'm downtown and I see it a lot. So just making sure there's no trash getting left outside. And I know restaurants, you know, sometimes they close, those tables are still out there, people sit at them after the restaurant closes and there's trash, you know, the next day. But I just want to throw that out there, so.
Thank you, Councilmember Allen. And that is actually a condition of the permits for the sidewalk cafes. So that is something that they should be responsible for. And I believe that there is enforcement that does take place from property management on that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public?
Support.
Okay, thank you. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. So we're now moving on to finance. Councilmember Vartan, would you like to do the first one?
Yes, thank you, Council President. This is number 9387. This resolution authorizes the transfer of funds within the operating budget from those accounts with a surplus to those with insufficient funds. This is a common occurrence at the beginning and end of every year, and the total amount of this transfer is $87,000. I move to adopt this resolution.
I second it.
Okay, are there any comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public? Okay, so we need a roll call vote on this, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Hairston?
Aye.
Ms. Little?
Aye.
Mr. Miniger?
Aye.
Mr. O'Sullivan?
Aye.
Mr. Vartan?
Aye.
President Fox?
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Moving on to finance number 2.
Thank you, Council President. This is number 9430. This resolution authorizes a one-year contract extension with Millennium Strategies, LLC for grant writing services. There are 3 main reasons why doing this makes sense. First, this contract costs $42,000 in the year, and in their tenure, Millennium has helped the city to receive more than $1,242,000 in grant funding, and in 2021, the city received almost $280,000. Second is Millennium has been proactive in coming to department heads with new ideas for grant applications. And third, these applications are often incredibly cumbersome. And we ask so much of our city staff already. We We must continue this grant writing service to allow our department heads to continue delegating this responsibility. We look forward to receiving more grant money this year, and I move to adopt this resolution.
I wholeheartedly second that nomination.
Are there any comments from members of council? Any comments from members of the public? So this is a topic that we talk about every year, and we agonize about it. And, you know, I think we've done some polling of the department heads about how helpful this is to them in terms of putting together grant applications. And, you know, we apply for some we get, some of them we don't get, and that's the way it is when you apply for grants, that some of them are very competitive. But, you know, it's, what we're learning is without this service, there would be grants that we wouldn't apply for and therefore would not be eligible to get. Even more so this year, I think, because of the infrastructure money that's likely to become available, we would be missing out if we didn't take advantage of these services. So I wholeheartedly support this, this resolution. So with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Finance number 3, Councilmember Vartan.
Thank you, Council President. This is number 9386. This resolution authorizes the city's tax appeal attorney to file appeals, counter petitions, and claims and stipulations of settlement with the Union County Tax Board and New Jersey Tax Court. These things must be done upon the request of the city's tax assessor. This resolution is done every year, and I move to adopt this resolution.
I second it.
Any comments from members of council? Comments from the public? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and we're moving on to the last finance resolution, Councilmember Vartan.
Thank you, Council President. This is number 9375. This resolution authorizes the accrued time payout for a retiring member of the Department of Community Services Uniform Construction Code Division. As per our closed session discussion, we wish this employee the very best, and I move to adopt this resolution.
I second it.
Okay, any comments from members of council? Comments from the public? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're moving on to safety and health. Councilmember Little, we've got 2 resolutions.
Hey, Council President, the first safety resolution is number 9389, and it's to appoint a probationary firefighter. This is due to the retirement of long-term firefighter Michael Cook. We wish him the best in his retirement, but that opened up a position in the fire department, and we are very happy that it's going to be filled by one of our talented volunteer firefighters, Adam Orr. The slate of candidates was incredibly impressive, and we are very happy that our current volunteer firefighter who is familiar with the city and familiar with the department is going to be taking this position of probationary career firefighter. And I ask that we approve this resolution tonight.
I second.
Are there any comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public? Nope. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And one last safety and health resolution.
Thank you, Council President. The last safety resolution is number 9392, and this is to appoint a police officer. As with the firefighter candidates, the slate of candidates for the police officer position were incredibly impressive, and I heard that from all the safety members who interviewed them. And a list was formed at that time of the eligible candidates. At our November 2021 meeting, we declared the vacancy in the police department, and we are very happy that the position will be filled by Officer Darren Sliker. He is a current police officer in New Jersey, so he will be able to start immediately, which is really beneficial, and he's apparently incredibly impressive. So we welcome him to the Summit Police Department, and I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second.
Any comments from members of council? Comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And I think the mayor has mentioned that, that he'll be sworn in tomorrow,
Yes,
correct?
tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Okay, City Hall?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right, and
Could be
then.
the courtyard.
Yep, courtyard? Yep, okay. And then the last thing is we have one administrative policies and community services resolution. Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Council President. This is Resolution 9378. Following the 2020 federal census count, the city clerk's office was advised by the Union County Board of Elections Administrator that any counties with warded municipalities are required to review their certified census population data and determine if there is greater than a 10% deviation between any two wards in the town. Summit has 2 wards, so we were subject to this review. The commission concluded that the wards did not exceed the 10% deviation. Therefore, Summit is in compliance and we do not need to redistrict our wards. This resolution is to seek approval for the stipends to all the ward commissioners who participated in the meeting, including the county and city staff, as well as the city's portion of the consultant fees as outlined in this resolution. I ask we move this resolution.
Second.
Are there any comments from members of council? Comments from the public? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, did you have a comment?
I was just curious.
If you're going to comment, please come up to the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay, it's just that no one can hear you at home.
I don't know if there's like online.
Nope, you got to talk into it.
Sorry, are you familiar with the amount of the stipend that was just approved?
Yes, it was in the,
I believe it's 37
$500
per person.
per person.
And there were how many? 3 people?
$3,750 for the consultant fee.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, my question was more if you're familiar, if you knew the amount that you were approving.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Cool, I'm just learning about it.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask us to do the math, we can do that.
No, I'm good with that. I just,
Yeah,
some stuff you might already know, but it's not clear like publicly.
Sure.
You know that.
yeah. Okay, no problem, thank you. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, so that, we're now moving on to the consent agenda. So generally, we take that all as one vote unless there's something that needs to be pulled out and discussed separately. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now we're on to council members' comments and new business. Does anyone have anything they'd like to say? Councilmember Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Council President.
Sure.
I just wanted to talk about our earlier discussion
Okay.
about safety. And so I know we don't have a room full of people anymore, but for everyone out there, when we moved to Summit, the reason why we decided to move here was because of Memorial Park. When we got here, it was beautiful, and we loved the park. But secondarily, the next reason we stayed is because the people and the beautiful walking neighborhoods that we live in. So I just want to recognize that as a parent, I think we're all concerned about the uptick in crime. It's not just in Summit, it's broadly. And so as a parent, I'm concerned too. And as your councilwoman, I certainly want to help explore options with my council members, with our fine Summit Police Department, with City Hall, help explore whatever answers those are, because I don't think the answers are quick and simple, but I know that what I really love about this community is that when the chips are down, we all come together and we're willing to work. And so I want to say thank you to Captain Zagorski. I know this is a very difficult time, but I'm interested in helping, solve this. So that's, Council President, that's really what I wanted to say. I wanted to recognize the people that came tonight and their concerns.
I appreciate that, and we value people taking time out from their busy schedules to come and talk to us. And, it's difficult in this situation where they're not hearing what they want to necessarily hear. And, I think this is something that requires cooperation with the police and with the public. We all have to work together on this. And, I think we will get there. So, thank you. Any other comments? Councilmember Hairston.
Thank you, Council
And then
President.
Councilmember Little, you'll be after Councilmember Hairston.
I would like to address the issue that has been raised also by the residents. Having been on the Safety and Health Committee with 3 police chiefs, I can say I have heard this issue over and over again, and I appreciate Councilwoman Allen's comments that there's no one on this council who does not care about the safety and well-being of every citizen. And I can't really underscore the level of professionalism from the police force. And I want to address another perspective that I hope we can take into consideration. This is not a Summit problem, and it is something that the county has a responsibility in, the state has a responsibility in. I want to say the manufacturers of cars have a responsibility in this as well. And so, and as we all have heard about the responsibility of the citizens. But I do want to address this issue of fear that I'm very concerned about us creating an environment where our children are fearful, and what the expectation of, if you live in a certain section of town, you are more vulnerable than others. I'm not sure if that is what I was hearing, because having lived in this town 4 generations, I want to say we have had those 7 places of egress all of those times. And so we have been vulnerable for all of those times, and we have made concerted efforts to make sure that Summit is safe, and we do the things that are necessary, and to give the impression that we are a place to be feared is something I want the safety committee to really take that into consideration as well. And I think that is what I am hearing from Captain Sigorsky when he is saying trust and understand how things have changed over time. And I appreciate the suggestions that I heard from folks about different things we can be raising with our county prosecutors, and how these things are being told for us to enforce. And I also do not want all of our strategies made public, because then how can the police police? And so I have confidence in the Safety and Health Committee's deliberation on this. And I am grateful to the mayor that you have reached out to our other communities, because I would love for this cartel that has this ring going on across the nation somehow shut down. But I do want us to manage fear and the anxiety that this is someplace that you need to be afraid to live if you're in a certain community and you have to get private policing. There's something that is concerning about that, but I will be very patient, and I do appreciate the constructive comments and suggestions and questions that were raised. And I do appreciate, as I said, each of the police chiefs endeavors seriously on this matter.
Thank you, Councilmember Hairston. Councilmember Little?
Thank you, Council President. As Councilwoman Hairston said, we've served together on the Safety Committee. I'm currently the chair of the Safety Committee, but I was the co-chair of the Safety Committee with Councilwoman Hairston in 2020. And in my former career as a prosecutor, so I've worked closely with the police here in Summit and in 4 different states. And I will say, I just want to assure our neighbors and anyone who's watching and the people that came today that our Summit Police Department is incredibly great police department. It is the best police department I have worked with by far. And that's not taking anything away from the other police departments, but this one is just particularly very, very, very well run, very well trained, and very professional in everything that they do. And so I can assure the public that under all 3 police chiefs that I have worked with during my time on council, this issue has been taken incredibly seriously. A lot of time and resources and training and discussion with different task forces and different resources and everything else have been taking place to address this problem. This is getting a lot of attention from the police department, the safety committee, the council, the mayor, and has been ever since I was elected to council. This is not new. And we heard the comments that Chief Black had made, we've heard comments Chief Bartolotti's made, and we heard tonight from Chief Zagorski. And I think also that the police department here in Summit has earned a little bit of trust to let them do their job, figure out solutions, and work this problem. So, and I assure you that the safety committee is going to be doing the same thing. I also want to state and reiterate what Councilwoman Hairston said, that this is not a Summit problem. I was on a call with the emergency dispatch board meeting today with Michael Rogers. We had police chiefs from several of the surrounding communities, and we were all talking about that this is a problem in all of those communities. And they all are, asking that the same thing of their residents that we are of ours, and that they take some partnership with us in helping us solve this problem by removing the key fobs and locking the cars. I also just want to point out 2 things that I heard kind of throughout the comments, and I just want to clear up a misperception. And a few people said that we really need to stop blaming the victims and realize that criminals are committing these crimes and that this is a crime. No one in the police department on the dais, no one that I've heard talking about this problem doesn't think this is a crime, whether the keys are in the car or out of the car. And I just want to clear up this misperception. That is not the problem. If a car is stolen with the keys in it, we still treat it as a crime, and it's still prosecuted, it's still investigated, the car's recovered, it's a crime. But you're making it very easy to commit that crime if you leave the keys in the car. That's the point. And we don't want to make crimes easy to commit in Summit because then we attract criminals here. So no one is saying that this is not a crime, whether or not the keys are. I just want to clear up that one misperception. And then there was another comment made that I just need to clear up. And one of the commenters said that criminals know they can come here because they won't be chased and they won't be arrested if they come here. Nothing could be further from the truth, and that has been demonstrated. One of our officers is actually in an incredibly serious accident in the pursuit of a stolen car. These crimes happen in Summit. They are fully investigated. They are fully prosecuted. They are fully dealt with. They are not ignored. And criminals don't know that they can come to Summit and commit these crimes because the police won't do anything about it. And I just really, that really struck me as something I really, really needed to clear up, because nothing could be further from the truth. Our police department takes these very seriously. The safety committee takes it very seriously. We are going to be working on this, and it's going to be a focus, and we are going to be coming back with, different things that we can do as a police department, as a city. But we need the partnership of our residents to fix this problem. We absolutely do. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Little. And as far as not investigating and prosecuting these offenses, I believe that 3 people were arrested last week, caught in the act of stealing a car. So. And I believe they're now all, they're all in jail, I believe. So is that correct, Chief? Okay, so it's not accurate to say that we're not pursuing these cases. So with that, Councilmember Vartan, you had a comment? Councilmember Vartan, yes.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I'll be quick. Just three things. The first is, I've spent time on the Finance Committee and on the Safety Committee. And in my time on council, there has never been a capital request from the police department that has been denied. So when our police request resources, we provide them. That's important. The second thing is we have a responsibility as a council and we have a responsibility as citizens. When the police suggest something to us, we have to take it seriously. And the suggestion is that there is actually one very simple way to start to deal with this problem, which is lock the cars, right? So that doesn't cost us anything, and it doesn't cost us any resources. So we should come together and we should take seriously our responsibility to do that. And the third thing I want to say is we have been in the past proactive about taking the burden off of our police from doing things that are a waste of their resources. So we have a new partnership with Bridgeway Behavioral Health Services that are going to hopefully take the police away from doing things that hopefully can redirect people that have mental health issues or a combination of homelessness and other social needs, and hopefully redirect those things so that our police aren't dealing with as much of that. And the other thing is that the Safety Committee has been having discussions about locations in town where there are a very high volume of calls and how we can address those things so that our police can be freed up to do more of the patrolling on the streets rather, that can help to deter these sorts of crimes. So those are my three things. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Vartan. Any other comments from members of council? No? Okay. All right, so at this point, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.
Meeting adjourned.
How are you doing? Everybody kind of.